and I saw the calendar invite at 7:12 p.m. The location was a hotel. I'm not jealous of places, I'm jealous of plans. Places just exist. Plans choose. At 7:12 p.m. my wrist buzzed in our shared calendar, the one titled Family because we didn't know what else to call two people and a plant that refuses to die, put a sentence on my skin. Residency session, it said, in Sam's tidy lowercase. The way people write when they want to sound like time is not their boss. Location: Mirabelle Hotel, 6:00 p.m. My first thought was arithmetic. We lived 20 minutes from the Mirabelle and it was already 7:12. Sam had texted at 5:30. Studio until late, don't wait up. He often says late, the way weather reports say chance. I do not love hotels that hide in plain sight or any building that smells like advice. I turned my wrist to dismiss the alert and felt ridiculous for wanting to ask the calendar how long it had known. The Mirabelle is the kind of place that believes lamps should apologize in advance and that carpet patterns can keep secrets. We went there once for a friend's party, and I spent the evening trying to make the chocolate on my dessert look like it had always been where it landed. I watched the stairs, the door, Sam's mouth when he laughed. That's the problem with memory. It wants to rehearse even when nobody bought tickets. I didn't go. I'm not a detective. I edit sound for films about people who don't know how their lives end and are brave enough to say so. My job is to take rooms that are bad at listening and persuade them to behave. If you give me a lie, I don't know where to put the echo. I put the kettle on instead. Water believes in one thing. It is comforting to be outnumbered by honesty. At 9:06, keys in the lock. Sam came in with studio hair and the look of a man who had asked a city to love him and it had considered the request. He kissed the air near my cheek. Our administrative kiss, filed and stamped, and said, "We ran long." I set his mug down. "Your calendar ran to the Mirabelle," I said, "because I have learned that evidence delivered by an app sounds like gossip unless you give it a table." He blinked. "Oh, that must be the autofill from the proposal," he said, "the way you say, it must be the wind after the door shuts itself." He took a sip, winced because he hates his coffee when it tells the truth. "We were going to meet there. We didn't. We stayed in the booth. I'll fix the event." The word event is the kind of furniture that looks polite and breaks the first time you sit on it. I texted Matt at lunch the next day. Everyone needs one friend who treats panic like a knot, not a personality. Table. He sent back the time and then 3 words that are his kink. One question only. At the north side, he listened like a mechanic hunting a rattle. What you know, a meeting got scheduled in a building that likes mirrors. What you want, to stay a person, not a parole officer. Ask why or who, not both. If you ask both, the night gets to write your story. At home, I wrote on the fridge, under the orange magnet that holds our rules, soft commandments in dry erase marker. I added, "What happens out there passes through this table first." The sentence looked like it was trying not to sweat. Sam set down his bag like an apology and put his palms flat on the table like our therapist taught us, the ritual of showing your hands when your mouth is about to ask for credit. "Okay," he said. "Which question?" "Why did our calendar promise a hotel your text didn't mention?" I asked. "Because the part wasn't coming," he said. He looked at the wall where the paint wants to leave us. "Because Lucas said the Mirabelle has a room with a ceiling that forgives you. Because I saw residency session and it sounded like a place you can make a mistake and someone will call it process. We wrote it down. Then we didn't go. We stayed and fought the same 4 bars and made them do something decent. I forgot to kill the plan." "Did you edit the plan?" I said, "or just change where it happened?" I wanted the sentence to be a question, not a jury. "I killed it," he said, and then looked equal parts proud and disappointed by the accuracy. He tapped the orange magnet with a finger. "We can add a rule. No hotel invitations without a conversation. And maybe, if restlessness calls, it has to say our names out loud. We wrote both. His handwriting always looks like it could be a logo for something that wants to be useful. For a week the world took its meds. I finished a cut without wanting to break a chair. He found a bridge without wanting to burn the song around it. We ate at reasonable hours and taught our plant to be grateful. Then Tuesday did what Tuesdays do. At 11:21 p.m. our shared mailbox brightened with the manners of a concierge. Thanks for your ride, Uptown Cars. Destination, Mirabelle Hotel. Time, 10:58 p.m. Everything okay? I texted, the coward's way of holding your breath. Yes, he wrote back. Dropped a speaker off to Andrea. We'll call tomorrow. He did not say Mirabelle. He did not say anything about a ceiling that forgives you. I did not tell him that I know taxi receipts are honest about places and clever about reasons. I put my phone screen down, moved the kitchen chair to the center of the floor. Our therapist insists bodies need actions when words are trying to unionize, and sat like a man training his nervous system to believe in furniture. When Sam came home the next day, he saw the chair and smiled the smile of someone relieved to be caught. Move it with me, he said, and we slid the chair sideways while we turned our sentences into something less sharp. I almost texted, I can't, he said. I stopped because I knew I would send it to you, and I didn't want almost to be the word you keep in your pocket when you think of me. I brought Andrea to the Mirabelle because the speaker wouldn't fit in his ride. We carried it to a room that smelled like promises and didn't turn any of them on. I believed enough of it to stay a person. No more midnight logistics, I said. If the city needs saving, tell it to file a form. He laughed, not because it was funny, but because humor is the body's only legal loophole. On Saturday, I did a science experiment with my own sanity. I went to the Mirabelle at 3 in the afternoon, when hotels are less sure of themselves. The lobby smelled like citrus and old carpet. I stood under the chandelier that always makes people more polite and told myself this place is just a room that likes its reflection. I took a picture of the ceiling because we don't have one at home that makes anyone forgive anything, and I sent it to Sam with the caption, "Still not a church." He replied with a picture of our table, the orange magnet, the marker with its cap on, and one word, "Here." The next week a residency invitation arrived via email with the kind of light fonts that make you agree before you know what you're agreeing to. 7 days in the mountains. Good windows, people with hair and opinions. Sam forwarded everything, the attachments, the map, the way the world sometimes sends you an elevator when you're committed to stairs. I want to go without disappearing, he wrote. I'll send pages, not alibis. When I get back, ask me, what did you write, before you ask me, what did you do? I said yes and taped 2 short commandments under the orange. Addresses in the open. A good night here voice note every day. He sent audio that was weather reports disguised as feelings. Today the table forgave me. Today the page held. Today I don't know anything and I'm here. I sent back pictures of our stupid plant looking victorious and our table looking like it understood gravity. At 12:41 a.m. on Wednesday, the little microphone appeared next to his name. Recording. No message arrived. I typed and erased 7 versions of a demand until none of them believed they were questions. I moved the chair again. Ridiculous. Effective. When he came home, he touched the back of the chair like it was an altar and said, "Thank you for making a place for the sentence to land." We added another line under the orange. If an I can't wants to exist, it has to share the room with both of us. It looked like a prayer we could actually keep. He came back from the mountains with a suitcase that didn't slam and a face that remembered how to belong to him. He put 2 pages on the table and watched them like a person watching a newborn in a nursery window, terrified and proud. "They're not good," he said. "They're mine," I said, and decided that was a kind of good. The calendar invite at 7:12 p.m. still exists, in the way radioactive things exist after you've buried them and painted over the dirt. Some days I catch myself checking the shared calendar, the way people check locks they already know they locked. I'm trying to stop asking software to do the job of a chair and a rule and a kettle. I am trying to believe that here is a location you can choose the way you choose socks and sentences. Last night, because brains are teenagers who dare you to touch bruises, I scrolled back to the week of the Mirabelle and looked at the entries as if they owed me a refund. I zoomed in on the map bubble, the little hotel icon that thought it was a character, and I noticed the first thing I had ignored. The status under the event said tentative. That wasn't a lie. It was a tone. I should have listened to the word that didn't want to be brave. At 7:05 this morning, I filmed the coffee rising because that is the only religion I practice, and it comes with a balm. I wrote here in the caption because words like to be reminded that they have addresses. Sam reached into the frame, palm to my palm without touching, a lid that doesn't claim to seal. "Here," he said. He taped his own line to the fridge without asking permission. "If you record with me. If you schedule with me. If you run toward." If another night hands me something stupidly honest, a calendar appointment that knew before I did, a receipt that tells the truth too early, a clip with a voice that learned the wrong mouth, I want to do the handful of humiliating, useful things that now feel like ritual. Put water on. Move the chair. Ask why before who. Wait for the key in the lock like it's a sound you can tune to. Let the calendar keep its nouns. The rest, hotels that mistake lighting for mercy, apps that mistake noise for meaning, ceilings that admire themselves, can stay where they belong, background. If we're any good at this, we'll keep being the address. And if we can't, we'll at least have a table with 2 mugs and an orange magnet and a chair ready to be ridiculous, effective, and exactly where it needs to be.